Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the 5-Star Podcast, and I'm here with John Helton and Caleb Helton, and these guys are some jiu-jitsu machines. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, John.
Well, I'm from Hazard, Kentucky, born and raised here, and Caleb is as well.
And you got a gym around here?
Yes, sir. I own Top Fight Academy here in Hazard, and we teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. We can offer boxing and wrestling instruction as well.
Okay, that's cool. And how long have you been doing Jiu-Jitsu yourself?
I started doing Jiu-Jitsu in 2008. Done martial arts all my life since I was a kid, but 2008 rolled around. I'd received a black belt in Hapkido under Mr. Charles Sullivan, who's still with us to this day, and I just decided I wanted to kind of branch out and learn some grappling, and brought in Josh Johnson from Elizabethtown, and he began doing seminars here in Hazard, and just blew up from there.
Blew up from there. And what you say you did Hapkido? What's the difference between Hapkido and Jiu-Jitsu? I know they're separate martial arts, but what makes them stand out from?
Well, the biggest difference is Hapkido is more, well, it's a Korean martial art, and Jiu-Jitsu, the style we practice, is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The Hapkido is a lot of kicks, a lot of strikes, a lot of small joint locks, we call it, versus chokes and arm locks like you may see in the UFC, that type. Okay,
and you guys, I see little man's got a handful of medals here. So you compete, Caleb?
Yes.
What kind of competitions? Where do you just run through some of the medals here and show us where you got them?
Why did I get
This one was from a judo tournament in Charleston, West Virginia. This one goes along with it. It's the United States Traditional Kodokan Judo Association, and it was a national championship, and he was fortunate enough to win gold in a national championship. So he was a national champion in the USA TKJ Judo. This medal is from the Smoky Mountain Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Open that we just had past weekend in Knoxville. He finished first in gi and no gi competition that day. So
good stuff. And I've some misconceptions about martial arts, because full disclosure, I went and trained with these guys a little bit, and something I always wanted to get involved in it, but I always felt like it just was a bunch of guys that were just wanting to hurt some people.
Sure.
And that's what a lot of people think on
very
the outside.
Very common misconception.
Looking in, and I get in, and it's really just a bunch of guys that are really just wanting to help each other.
That's right, and that's the philosophy. Since 2008, there's been a lot of schools just emerged. The things blew up around Hazard. It's a really exciting time for martial arts here in the Hazard area. We're here, Top Fight Academy. We pride ourselves on being an instruction-based academy. And when I say instruction-based, I mean we are there to teach. And so a guy like yourself or just anybody that comes in, our number one priority is to teach that person our trade. And you know, there's several different modes or modalities, if you want to call it, of martial arts instruction, or you know, some gyms they just they show up, they meet, they spar, and that's it. You know, others are sort of in between. We are an instruction-based academy.
So by instruction-based, you mean you drill?
We teach. We are all about the beginner, the person that walks in wanting self-defense training as priority. You know, that's what they want as priority one. We want to be able to offer that first. And you know, even though we're involved in competition, and I've been involved, cornered numerous MMA fighters, great fighters, you know, that have came up over the years, amateur fighters. I've cornered, been involved in MMA heavily, but we've always been about self-defense. And you know, the average fan that maybe watches UFC, they may be drawn to do jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever. They may be drawn to it due to that reason, but most people are drawn to it because they actually want to learn how to defend themselves, and that's you know, that's what we offer.
Yeah, as a UFC guy watching it, you see it's easy to get caught up in the theatrics of it.
Sure.
The guys that are not they're obviously they're wanting to be better at their trade. They're wanting to do the best they can, but they also want to sell pay-per-views, and
Sure.
they want to intimidate the opponent. So that was kind of what kept me away from it, to be honest, just because I didn't want to deal with that. But for anyone out there that's thinking, I don't want to be a part of that. That's not what I know. It's not what your gym's about, and a lot of gyms around here are the same way. They want to teach me.
That's right. We're really blessed, honestly, right now. We've got some really good gyms around the Hazard area. I want to give a shout out to Ken Beverly, Stone, Donald Neese at Viper Pit MMA. Good friends of mine. Ken is a great MMA fighter. He recently took his first professional fight before he graduated high school. They do a lot of great instruction. We have Travis here, Travis Pennington, who runs Cat's Gym. They're instruction based, got a great workout facility as well. So, since 2008, the Hazard area is really it's exploded with really good martial arts instruction.
There's a girl that trains with you guys, and she always talks about how she just felt comfortable rolling with the guys, and a lot of people. My wife was always afraid that wouldn't be something for her. How would you? What would you tell a female that may be a little more intimidated than even a big guy like me? And I can tell you, I'm a big guy, but even I don't know how to use my weight and leverage it like you experienced guys do. So it's not a walk in the park for anyone.
No.
Everybody comes in, and it seems like it's learning from day one.
Yeah, and no disrespect at all towards maybe karate facilities or traditional martial arts facilities. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, wrestling, it's just hard for anybody to grasp at first. The workouts are really hard, and grappling, wrestling, grappling, ground fighting, fighting for takedowns is a very strenuous activity. And I always tell people, 3 weeks into your training, you're going to experience muscle breakdown, you're going to experience just fatigue like you've never felt before, but that's the time to keep going. And for women out there, who are looking to get into martial arts training, you just have to understand, the men, just like the women, go through the same thing. And Jennifer, the lady you were referencing, she came in with just a really high drive and was very humble, and she's excelled. She's a blue belt now, and the belt rankings in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are very, very lengthy, and she's now a blue belt. She's competed a lot, and she's a great member, and I think she sets a great example for women out there who want to get into the art and the sport.
Yeah, and obviously you guys can get them started pretty early.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your kids program.
Yes, I thank you for asking about that. The youth program truly just changed my life. About 3 years ago, Caleb was 4, and special time in our lives. Caitlin was she would still be in school throughout the day. We would pick Caleb up from preschool at 12 o'clock. And that's when the gym was on Main Street and before the fire. And we would go down there and just sort of play around. I don't remember. Do you remember going down there to the old gym when you would get out of preschool? I don't know if it's probably a faint memory to him, but it was a really good time. So I started noticing that he would pick up really fast, faster than a lot of adults would, on fairly advanced concepts of jiu-jitsu and judo. And so about that time is when my friend and partner Ryan Bryant moved here, and his son Maddox, I think has been on your program as well. They moved here, and he was wanting to kind of get Maddox into it as well, and that's when we started the youth program. Since that time, the youth program has exploded. We actually had to form a new beginners class recently because we've got so many kids, and so it's just been great. It's been great. The tournaments, that's part of it. That's not the reason we do it, but the tournaments, it's been pretty amazing at what the kids have accomplished since they've been involved in it on the mats and competition. You know, we've had Maddox who, you know, who's competed alongside Caleb many times. Then he wrestles. He was third in the nation, AAU Nationals, All-American status, first year wrestling. You know, Caleb here has won a USA TKJ Judo National Championship at the age of 7 years old. It blows my mind at how well they soak it up. It really does.
And what are the benefits of for a kid getting into it at a young age? What are the things that they can expect to get from it?
Well, as a nurse practitioner by day, that's my day job. You know, I see every day the struggles we're having around here with childhood like diabetes and things like that. And coming in day one, they're going to get a great workout. And if they remain with it, they're going to lose weight. They're going to tone up. They're going to gain muscle mass. It's just mentally and physically they get so many gains from training in jiu-jitsu. It's great. It's great.
Great. Well, that's all for the interview. But we're going to do some drills here. You guys are going to do some demonstrations. We got a WYMT employee over here, Trey Baker, who's going to get thrown around a little bit. Maybe we'll see what happens. But we thank you guys for coming on, and we'll get to it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So we do a lot of jiu-jitsu and judo, which is grappling, but we also have the capability to teach striking, boxing, kickboxing, things of that nature. So Caleb's worked on this stuff for quite a while, so we're going to run through some combinations. The first we call a 1-2, so he's just going to take a left foot forward, orthodox stance, and he got his hands up, his chin tucked down. All right, so we're going to do a few combinations. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. All right, so now we're going to go to what we call a 1-2-3 or a 3 combo. 1-2-3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. All right, so let's go to 1-2 round kick. Ready? 1-2 round kick. 1-2 round kick. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip 2, 3. Slip 2, 3. Slip 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now Caleb's going to demonstrate a throw called Osoto Gari, which just translates to major outside leg read. So take your hold. Finish with the arm lock. Now we're going to do a few self-defense techniques. These are techniques that we make sure everybody is taught through their white belt progression. We start with a side headlock. Guillotine defense. A lot of times kids are turned and put into like a rear choke position. So for that we teach a shoulder throw. So if he's turned and snatched up in this manner, he can drop and then come on top. Finish with the arm bar, just to keep his top position. We'll do that maybe a little faster. This way. And so, kid gets put on their back in a fight. Maybe a bully at school puts them down on their back. They're on top, and he's throwing punches down. We teach you to keep covered up. And how do you stop the punches? In this case, he's going to bridge his hips back, and it makes me put my hands on the mat. Then he traps, bridges, and rolls. From here, he can posture up. Now he can pass the guard, get through his guard, come to the top, And from there, just whatever he wants to do. So from here, this is a lot of times how we play in tournaments. We have a sport group like this. Taylor will do a basic hip throw. Finish with the arm bar. Now we're going to do one last attack sequence. This is when he's on top. In top mount, he attacks for the cross choke, we call it. And as I defend, he's going to transition to an arm bar. Of course, a lot of these techniques that we've shown don't involve punches, and of course in fights there's punches. So the basic idea of self-defense in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is he's going to keep his hands up down the middle. That forces me to throw wide shots, because if his hands are down the middle, if I throw jabs, he can easily take care of those. So it forces me to throw a wide shot. When I do, he's just going to come to the clinch. Now he can throw. Now he can finish with the arm bar. The self-defense system is built around this idea that we want to force people to throw wide shots. That opens them up for the clinch. So we'll do it one more time. And so we're going to just, I'm going to fire off a few techniques, mainly out of our stand-up curriculum. A lot of throws of that, and quick finishes on the ground, arm locks and stuff. So from here we take a standing grip. So again, going back to the basic self-defense idea, the techniques I just did were, more sport-based when you're actually just agreed upon to grip up with each other. So we're going to go back now to the punch block series that Caleb demonstrated. We'll kind of walk through it. So again, the idea, keeping my hands up, down the middle. Anybody that's watched the first UFC knows Wes Gracie, when he fought, always fought like this. The main reason for that, you can sort of check the distance, and if you have to, you can always throw some kicks to close the distance again. So my hands are up here, they're out in the middle. As he throws jabs, I can check those, that's no problem. As soon as he decides that that's not going to work, he throws a big right hand, I just cover and trap his arm, okay? Once I'm here, then I can step through and throw. Just in real time, we're going to keep the hands up down the middle, force him to throw a wide, bright haymaker. That's usually what most people try to hit you with. So, hands are up, trap, step, throw. Once I'm here, I don't have to go to the ground. I can stay here to finish. Throw strikes, I can just get up and get away. This position here, like I said, is a sport grip. So it's real easy to translate techniques from here, like the hip throw, into self-defense where we're here. So he throws the punch. I come here, a lot of times this guy's natural reaction is to grab it around the headlock. And if he wants to, he can take me down right here if I don't have good base. So I want to keep myself low. I want to reach over his back, scoop his leg, lift, come down on top, and now I'm in a dominant position. As he holds on to the head, he thinks he's got something here. I establish my base, I step, lock my foot into the hip, and now I'm in the mount position. Make a frame push, posture, and now of course I can take my arm bar. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is real unique though in that we use the guard position, and that's the biggest difference between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus Judo or wrestling, it's truly for a weaker person. It gives a weaker person an advantage over a stronger, bigger person. So, you know, as well trained as we may be, it's you know, if the guy's really strong, he may be able to put you on his back, on your back. So in that case, we've got the guard position. So I'm going to try to get the guard. And the guard is in between the legs, and for obvious reasons, this position is really good for women, for rape prevention and sexual assault, and I always point that out. From here, you have a lot of attacks on the neck. 5 seconds, he's out. You know, he comes here. I can also escape my hips out, put on the hip, knee pushes the arm out, and I'm going to bring him in to what we call a triangle choke. And in this case, my leg blocks this side of the neck, this arm of his blocks this side, and I'll bring my leg over, elevate my hips, pinch my knees together, and squeeze it in. Armbar. Break. Also, from that same idea, is if he's throwing punches, just break his posture down. Once I'm here, I can hip out, go straight back to the triangle choke. We're part of the Valhalla Association through Frankfort, Kentucky. Head instructor, Dr. Brian Jones. Great instructor, great resource for combat sports. He's the author of several books. He's really big on self-defense and practical self-defense. So one of the first techniques I teach in our academy is a basic mount escape from a punching attacker or for somebody trying to choke you. So the mount position is when he's over top of me in this manner. The thing about this position is his fist will reach my face, but mine will come nowhere close to reaching his face. Even if the guy is a lot shorter than Trey is, you're not going to be able to throw effective strikes from here, so you're in a really bad position. So if he's throwing strikes down right here, I have to keep moving and keep my hands up, but that's just going to buy you just a little bit of time. I've got to stop the strikes. So as he's throwing punches down, I'm going to bridge and lift my hips. That's going to force him to put his hands on the mat. So go back up. If he doesn't, so he's throwing strikes. If I bridge and he doesn't, you see he's going to put his hands on the mat or he'll face plant. So as he's throwing the strikes, I bridge. As soon as he's here, I reach inside to out, trap the arm, trap the foot. Now everything on this side is taken away, and I'm going to bridge to the left. As soon as I get right here, I want to get my head up in a self-defense situation. Maybe you can throw strikes here, get up. He's got a few buddies around, get away. Is that people try to, choke you with their thumbs. So they actually put their thumbs on the neck and try to squeeze. So in this case, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has dealt with this for a long time as part of the core curriculum, is that I'm going to actually trap one of his arms down, and I'm going to use my elbow to push his leg down. And on this side, on my left side, I'm going to trap his foot. Same concept. Everything on this side is taken away. Bridge, roll. As soon as I come up, get that hand off there, and now we can get up. Whatever we have to do, stand your way.